Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Era 2 Western Alliance Tech Tree medium tank, the AMX 30B2. Now this is the brand new middle of the line Era 2 tank in the French Cold War Tech Tree that's come out recently. And so far, yeah, it's a pretty good tank. It's basically the Forad. That's basically what it is. It's pretty much exactly the same tank. The model is ever so slightly different, but in terms of statistics and stuff like that, this tank is exactly the same as the Forad. So if you've played the Forad, you know exactly how this tank is going to handle, and if you'll know exactly if you're going to like this tank. And I mean, really, that goes for the middle, well, this whole era, to be honest, because the Brennus is basically a 30B2 Forad, but with a little bit of extra armour. And to go in line with the Forad, this tank actually is the same as the previous tank that you saw, the AMX 30B66, and it fires heat as a standard round, which is an absolute pain in the ass in Era 2. But you do get premium APCR this time. And this first replay, the reason I've included it is because I do fire heat in this replay. And I'm not saying you can't do anything with the heat in Era 2. I'm not saying that at all. You can do a lot with the heat. It's just that there's some extremely frustrating moments where heat just decides, no, I'm not going to work. And it's so annoying, and I'd rather just get rid of that frustration. So I fire full APCR in this thing to make sure that I actually pen every shot I'm going to take, if I take it. Like I always say, in Era 2, I'd rather have had the APCR as a 400 pen round and the heat as the 482 pen, because I would never have used the heat at that point still. So in terms of a crew on the 30B2, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Clutch Braking, Dead Eye, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Off-Road Driving. Off-Road Driving to make the ground resistances just that little bit better, to definitely help me get to that top speed of 77 kilometers an hour, and that is the difference between this and the Forad, is this can get to 77 kilometers an hour with the traction system. And then I run the 2 gun perks, Run and Gun and Steady Aim, to make the gun as good as humanly possible. Clutch Braking to make the track traverse better so I can spin on a sixpence. And Dead Eye because that is good for this machine gun, because you can, well, you're increasing the chance of critting something by 6% for every shell that's going to enter the tank. And I actually run this on the 30B66 as well. I think I ended up putting the wrong crew up in the last video, but that's pretty much what I run. So as you can see, this first game, we've managed to amass 7.5k damage and 2k assistance very, very quickly. And I'm just trying to look for a shot at people. Oh, in terms of equipment, by the way, the same as the last tank, advanced loader, vertical stabilizers and traction system. Traction system to go faster, vertical stabilizer to help the gun, and loader to get better DPM. And as you can see, we got a little bit too bold, anyway, in this game. I was trying to move up to the next rock, and unfortunately got shut down. But we did finish the game with the high caliber, the second class, 1470 base XP, a pretty decent game for the 30B2. And I say that's one of the replays where we fired heat. Because, like I say, I'm not saying you can't do anything with the heat, and I'm not saying it's useless. It's just a pain in the ass. Because there's a lot of tanks like... It's looking at tanks like the T72M1. You're more likely to pen a T72M1 in the front with the heat than you are in the side. The side, it will just, most of the time, not go through. And then there's tanks like the T72M1 that also have, like, 3 layers of armour on its upper plate and etc, etc. And then you actually pen the tank, but you don't actually pen it because spaced armour and heat gets absorbed by spaced armour. Heat is just an irritating concept in this era, and it's just best sometimes to limit the frustration by just not carrying it at all and just running full gold. Because the full gold, naturally, having 483 pen is pretty damn nice. You can actually deal with 4211s then, because that's the other thing, like, FE 4211s are near enough, not impossible, but very, very difficult to deal with that bloody heat round. Whereas the 482 pen APCR round, you're going to deal with 4211s pretty easily. Well, not easily, because they're still trolling as balls, but, you know, that's the 4211 nature. But you can pen a lot of things. Obviously, you go from 1,000 meters a second shell velocity as well, up to 1,500, which is absolutely beautiful. And you don't have to worry about changing ammunition types either, which is pretty good sometimes. Although you do have to keep in mind using this 20mm where you can. So we're on the second replay. And on the second replay, we are on Siegfried Line, and as you can see, we've managed a bit of assistance and 930 damage so far. We're just going to start pummeling some shots into the turret of this FV4211, because with 482 penetration on our APCR rounds, as long as we hit towards the gun on the 4211, we can pen the 4211's turret front, which is beautiful. And we damage Zamorak as well. Unfortunately for our AV, he gets shut down by... Did he get shut down by the... He got shut down by the T-72A. not the 4-2-1-1. It looked like the 4-2-1-1 got him there, but hey, well. We're still looking for some shots into this 4-2-1-1. Unfortunately, bounced there off his turret front, and he misses us, thankfully. Just waiting for the smoke of his round to clear so I can see if he's moved back out. He's still there. We get another shot through his turret front. Then we spot this Conqueror traverse, and it's like, hello, Conky Donks. Just let me put you out of your misery, sir. And unfortunately, we low roll 391. We do have 460 alpha on this tank, so that is fairly big low roll. And then we spot this Bradley going out. It's like, well, hello, Mr. Bradley. You are a very big target. It's very easy to see. Let's just keep putting some shots into you if we can, because that guy gets out into the field. It's going to be a bit of a painful one for us because he's got some pretty painful ATGMs. So we launch some 20mm autocannon rounds at him, which ends up knocking a fair bit of his health off. And we see a pop there, and I think, did he just fire an ATGM? You know what? I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to just stay here and have a look. Doesn't seem to be any ATGMs flying, though. But we notice this Leopard 1 is in the middle. It's like, well, hello, Mr. Leopard 1A1. No, don't mind if I do. We get a nice snapshot in that tracks and damages his ammo rack, and it's like, oh, you know what? If he's tracked now, I can actually get some shots into his side. So we're just going to use the autocannon. We pop a shot through him, puts him down to a one-shot, and the autocannon on this tank can pen the lower plate of a Leopard, which we do, and shut him down. We're up to 6.3k damage with 1800 assistance. Just going for the tracking shot on the WZ-122. Didn't quite go in. Sad times, but that WZ-122 does get shut down. There's now the M60A2, who actually shoots a HE round at us. That's a rarity. Most of the time they're firing ATGMs. I mean, I know I would be. So it caught me out a little bit there, because I thought, well, this if he's firing an ATGM, I'm going to have a second or two to be able to actually get the shot into him. And we get detected as we poked out to look at the field, and I thought, oh no, that's the Bradley. Not looking at the team listing, the Bradley's dead. But yeah, that was my thought was, oh god, that's the Bradley. I'm not going to take the ATGM from that Bradley. That's just, no, I'm not doing that. That's 1,000 hit points worth of badness. And we actually end up spotting this Conqueror got spotted for the first time and he's basically got no health, and that's because we shot him a couple of times. But we get a shot in to shut down the Conqueror, because sadly for the Conqueror we just have to shoot him straight through the gun mantlet. And we just keep progressing, because I'm like, you know, I'm not dealing with that 4-2-1-1. That's not happening, so let's go help our peeps in the town. The M60A2 pulls back behind the building, and I'm just keeping my eye on where I can try and get some shots into people. The T-72A ends up charging round, gets a shot into us, we get the shot snapped into him, just aiming for the drive wheel, and unfortunately we just only pen it. Launch some 20mm autocannon rounds into him, but, well, they didn't do any damage. There's only 4 tanks left on the enemy team. We're up to 8.2k damage, so we're going to go chasing after this FV4211. And as you can see, I didn't realise, oh, I still have the autocannon in. So we go for the tracking shot on the 4211. It does not go in. Then he chooses us, and it's like, well, that's awkward. Now I'm one shot for you. That's bloody annoying. We get the tracking shot in, though, which is perfect. Great for the grind as well, because, you know, at this point we're still grinding this tank, and every little bit of assistance and damage and kills helps to give us more XP, helping give us bigger XP totals, getting through this grind as quick as possible. And, well, not saying that you have to get through this grind as quick as possible, because, like I say, this tank is pretty damn nice to play, and if you play the Forad, you know the Forad's a pretty damn nice tank to play, so you'll enjoy this tank. But, you know, we're trying to get the contents for you guys and push through as much as we can. So every little bit, if we can eke out as much as we can from these games, perfect. And we're up to 9.2k damage with 3.3k assistance. Just looking for the shot into the M60A2. And we get a nice shot there through his cupola. Beautiful things. Just looking for the kill shot now on this guy. And unfortunately, of course, hit the same spot, bounces. Just the way it goes. But now we're going to pull out and see if we can get a shot into this M103A2. But the M103A2 gets shut down. And now it's just a case of, will we get a shot at this M60A2? And the answer is probably not. As you can see, get the big pose in. You big poser AMX 30B2. Oh, show off. It's got a big gun. And we finished the game with 3 kills. 9.7k damage, 3.3k assist. The Eagle Eye for causing more than 1,000... Was that causing more than 1,000 HP? Blind damage or something like that. 1814 base XP, so what we're talking 13k combined. Pretty damn nice game for the AMX 30B2 there. And we're on to the third and final replay of the video, and this one's going to be a bit of a cracker, to be fair. And we're on Rezanai. And on this map, I am going to push to, well, in these wonky spawns anyway, I'm going to push to F5. Yeah, F5. We're going to push there because I can get on the ledge and I can try and get a bit hull down, start popping shots at them if I can, and it's just a fairly decent position to take. The only problem with that position is that if they push hard, I'm going to die very, very quickly, because that's just what happens. This position tends to work, but for the most part, if their whole team pushes really aggressively down the E line, or just through the castle in general, I'm going to bleed a lot of hit points and probably die, which is not a good time. But we're just going to take this little position, and as you can see, it's yielding us some shots into the Mobat. So we're just going to see if we can get any more shots into this guy if he decides to poke out. And of course, just as I move out of a position where I could shoot that, he drives out straight into the position where I could have just shot him, which is just sad times. We're going to keep trying to get some more shots into that guy. Unfortunately, we only track him with that shot. He moves off, so we get a big shot through his side there. There's actually a T-72A as well moving along. And, yeah, we couldn't quite see the shot into him. We can't quite get the shot into the AV either. And I know that if these guys keep pushing, they're going to give me some nice shots. So we're just going to keep our eye out for it. So as you can see, the T-72A ends up giving us a nice shot, and so does the AV. But unfortunately, we bounced on that T-72A, which, sad times. Looking for the shot now into that AV. He's teasing us. He's clearly trying to feather us out. And then we notice, oh god, that is a lot of tanks coming this way. Okay, you know what? I can't stay here because that T-72A, Mobat, and that have great shots into me. But now this heavy tank up above is getting absolutely mauled. So I decide, you know what? While these guys are distracted, great shot, by the way. Fantastic shot. While these guys are distracted, absolute machine gun on this BMP. Oh, God, that poor guy. And the Leopard comes over. It's like, well, good night, sweet prince. Good night. We get rid of the Leopard too. And I decide, okay, you know, I can't stay here because now I probably have outstayed my welcome. They're probably going to YOLO over, or people are going to start keep attacking like that Leopard tried to. I'm going to come back over here to try and see if I can get some shots into the people's sides along the 4 line, or get up behind the guys at H2. So we're up to 3.7k damage. And as you can see, there's nothing here. There's a lot along that B line. There is no cap, so I don't have to worry about the cap. So what I'm going to do is try and help my 2 friends that are with me and get rid of these fellas over here. So we end up seeing this M3A1, and the Bradley gets a shot putting him down to a 1-shot, and the machine gun comes into play once again, because this machine gun is so filthy, and we shut down the M60A1 just like that before we managed to get the reload in. I love the machine guns on these tanks. They are so filthily great, and it's so satisfying when you get the full clip. Like that BMP, that poor BMP at the start, absolutely trashed his day, and it's always glorious. So we're going to see if we can get some shots into this M60. So I was just, you can see I was using the camera to peek round the corner to see if he was the only one there, which he was. So now we're just going to start using our DPM against this guy. I decide, yeah, I'm going to take a hit, but we're going to start machine gunning. But he has actually decided that that T-72M1 was the one he was going to get. So we're just trying to keep ourselves in a position where I'm trying to get to his side to be able to keep this autocannon running into him. But we were unsuccessful, really, at penning. But that's because with the M60s, if you're using this autocannon, you need to shoot them in the back end. If you shoot them at the mid area of their side plates, it doesn't tend to go in. Whereas if you shoot them in the rear part of their side, it tends to pen a lot. And as you can see, we got round the other M60A1, who actually ended up being AFK, shut him down, got out of the gun line of the FV4211, and we're now going to try and help my friend with this FV4211. So you can see we're getting shots into this guy's drive wheel, and I'm keeping him pinned because we need that FV4211 to get gone. And there goes the FV4211. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite secure the kill to get our 6th kill of the game, to get a top gun, but we noticed that the T-72A is still over there. Couldn't quite see a shot into him, so we're just going to leave him alone. And we're just going to go chasing after the guys in the middle and see if we can, because the team at the minute, well, we're 10-6 up, so it's going well, but they're in a very good position at the minute where I can get shots into them, but they're, you know, getting shots into my friends. So we get a shot into the back of the T-72, and then we start to try and machine gun his top end, and we did get a few pens into it, but we do get to get some good pens into that T-72. We're up to 8.5k damage, and I'm just trying my best to keep myself active in this game. The T-72M1 ends up pulling out, and it's like, well, okay, sir. Don't mind if I do. Sure, I'll start shooting you. So we try and get the tracking shot in, which we do get the tracking shot in, but he ends up repairing and pulling away. Now there's the T-72 Ural that pulls out, which is the worst version of the M1 behind it. And again, we tried to go for that tracking shot, but the shot just does not track. Or it does, I have no idea what happened to it, to be fair. But we didn't quite get the shot in. We get a nice shot though into the side of him. Then we notice this Enigma's coming. And it's like, well, okay, Mr. Enigma. We try and snap the shot into the Enigma, but it doesn't pen. The M103 puts him down to a one-shot, so we managed to get the shot in to shut him down and secure our top gun. Up to 11,000 damage. Now there's the T-72 M1 in the way. We get rid of him. Puts us up to 7 kills. And now there's only 1 tank left. It's the T-72A from earlier. We know exactly where he is. He's probably still sitting somewhere like A4. So we're going to go and try and see if we can spot him, get the assistance, and do some damage if we can. So this T-72A ends up popping out, and it's like, hello, Mr. T-72AV. Well, not AV, T-72A, sorry, it's the one before the AV. We get a nice shot in that tracks him, and realistically, I should have used the machine gun far quicker there, because I would have been able to keep that guy perma-tracked. But I'm going to make a mistake, to be honest. I'm going to probably be a little bit too hesitant. I should have charged towards this guy. And you can see, I'm trying to bait him into shooting while trying to snap my own shots in. And yeah, if I charged him, I probably would have been able to kill him. But we're just trying to bait him. I snapped the shot in with the RBRT, and he ends up penning us, which means we're now a one-shot for him, which means we have to be very, very careful. We get a nice shot into his side, though, putting him on 590 hit points, and I should absolutely go in now. He gets tracked behind the rock. I am still a one-shot for him, so I do have to be careful, but I'm just hoping that maybe, now he's definitely taking a hit, I'm hoping maybe he'll drive out and give me a shot. But unfortunately, we end up ricocheting off his hull, which means we don't get the 8th kill of the game, but we do finish with an absolutely fantastic total. We finish with the victory, 7 kills, 12,921 damage, ace tanker, top gun, high caliber, the sniper medal, 2025 base XP, a really great game for the AMX 30B2, the middle of the line in this era, and it's a pretty damn good one. Like I say, if you play the Forad, if you own the Forad, you know exactly what this 30B2 is, because statistically it's pretty much exactly the same, except for it's a little bit quicker. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!